So, welcome to the Dr. Tyra Hodge Show. Today, virtually, I have the famous Karen Kingsbury and her son. Did I say your last name right, Kingsbury?
Yes, you did. That's
I
perfect.
see it
Yes.
on books, but nobody ever says it to me. But I see it on books all over. And we got her wonderful, talented son, Tyler Russell. Hello, how are you?
Hello, so good. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. It's great.
Right. So I got to view the new movie coming out. Actually, a series coming out on Pureflix. I'm sorry, I just rushed in, and then that's my life. I'm rushing in, rushing out. And about with Cody and Allison, A Thousand Tomorrows. And so I started watching this series, and at season episode 4. I'm sorry. At episode 4, I had to stop because I had to save the rest for my husband, and I wasn't able to project it to the TV. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, we got to watch this together." But first, I didn't tell people. Karen Kingsbury is a best-selling author, and she writes so many good stuff. So many good stuff. And so this one I had to get because I'm an educator by trade, and I still am. I work high up in the district. But Tyler, y'all tell me about what y'all did, what you created. You created something amazing.
Well, first, Tyra, thank you so much for your work with kids because, we need people like you who are helping and being high up in a district like that. That's service. And we, all of us, the whole community, the whole country appreciates that. So thank you. I have to tell you that. But yeah, A Thousand Tomorrows is a book that we wrote. I wrote the book a couple of years ago, and then in the last year, Sony Affirm came to us and said, we would love to see this be a TV series on Pureflix. And we kind of thought about that and thought how exciting to be a part of bringing more people to Pureflix because they've got great content there. Yeah. And not everybody knows about that. So then I'm busy writing books. And so I thought, now who is the best screenwriter that I know? And that would be Tyler.
So there's some bias there. No, you're good. He's a bestseller himself.
He is actually. He's a New York Times bestselling author. So, I asked him if he had time to be able to do this. 6 1-hour episodes. It's about 360 pages of screenwriting. And he had time. So he dove into the book. He'd already read it before, grew up watching me write these books. So he was familiar with it. And I said, why don't you do the first draft? So we first agreed on an outline. And then he did the first draft of all 6 episodes. And we would bring it to the table and tell her about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what's really fun about collaborating with Mom is, not only is she a great storyteller, she's a great listener, she's a great editor, and she'll be really honest, So yeah. I'd bring an episode and she'd go, this is great, or let's adjust this here, let's fix this here. I think it was a very collaborative space, and it felt like I was comfortable throwing out any idea, and just I of course wanted to honor her amazing story, and I think watching the final product on Pureflix, it's very evident that people put in a bunch of hard work to bring her story to life, so it's been awesome.
But Karen, you've also had stuff on Hallmark before, correct?
I have. In fact, one of our movies on Hallmark was Maggie's Christmas Miracle, and Tyler and I wrote that script as well. Mm-hmm. So we've worked together before in screenwriting, and mainly, like I said, he studied this, and I trust him. So I love screenwriting, but screenwriting is one of those sort of arts you need to have a collaborator. You can't write in a vacuum because you got to bounce ideas off each other. And Tyler, he created new characters outside of the book for A Thousand Tomorrows on Pureflix, where he gave Cody a band of friends.
Like, yes, and they are something. I want to get into that. I want to get into this because I really did. I had to stop myself at episode 4 because I want to be able to see it with my husband on the screen, and so versus watching it on my computer. I did notice something. Cody, and I've already nicknamed her Allie, so she's like a part of my family. Yeah. What I appreciate, a couple of years ago, I cut the cord on cable, and I didn't think I would ever be able to do that. And so now with PureFlix, it's been a game changer. I'm able to watch TV with my kids again. Okay, so what I found interesting about Cody and what I found about Allie was that they had real life stuff going on. And so I work Title I. So, and I work with the children of MS-13 and different below the border gangs and stuff like that. So my students get shot or are shooting each other, and some get saved. And so, but Cody, he has some issues going on, family issues. I mean, some deep in real life stuff. But then so did Allie. And some people use these excuses for bad behavior. But the first thing I noticed was, and I want you to talk a little bit more about the personalities of the characters, because they had reasons to go drinking and dancing and possibly sleeping around, but I don't see this. Tell me some about this. For instance, like Cody's had a chances to sleep with lots of women, but he didn't.
Yeah. Well, I think there's some insinuation there in episode 1. Yeah, that where, like, in other words, he didn't have any faith in God, and so you can't tell a true story and an honest story unless you show all the different kinds of characters. I think the goal for us, of course, is to in an art, and in terms of the art, is to select our scenes in an honest way, but not to be gratuitous, because nobody needs that, and you want to watch with your family, like you said. So, I think it's important, if you're going to tell an honest story, that you show the brokenness. You surely can't show redemption until you've shown the brokenness.
Yes.
And Cody, he doesn't come from some of the things you just talked about, but he does have a situation where his dad left the family when he was 8 years old, and he overheard his father say, "I cannot be a father to Carl Joseph." Carl Joseph is Cody's younger brother with Down syndrome. So at that moment, he developed a hatred toward his father, and he held on to it, and he nursed it, and he let it grow and grow. And when he gets on the back of a bull, that's the anger he feels. That's what keeps him on the bull. And he actually thinks it's good for him. And we start to see in episode 1 where the father's trying to come back into the picture. And now, this is a conflict where he feels like the anger makes him a better rider. He does not want to forgive his father, but his mom points out, and she's right, this is going to make you sick. It'll destroy you.
And I'm hoping that, and like I said, purposely, I didn't watch the last 2 because I want to be surprised. But I'm hoping there's good, because forgiveness is a big part of who we're supposed to be. Now with Allison, with her, and I want to be careful because I don't want to spoil this. There's things going on in her life that could cause her to be angry. She could be sleeping around and stuff, but she had some standards, and when the time for the date was supposed to be over at 11 o'clock, the date was over, and there was
that timer went off.
Tell me a little bit about the fact that you allowed her to keep some morals behind where she could have been acting out.
Yeah, I mean, I think for Allie, that's part of her faith, is just living out her faith. She's not preachy. She's not judging anybody on the circuit. She just does her, right? She's like, maybe you'll notice in episode 1, she's sitting there having her time in the Word, reading the Bible. She goes off and hangs out with her mom. She focuses on what's important to her because she knows that her time is limited, because she does have this sickness, and she's not going to compromise what she believes in just to go have fun or just to go party or do this, that, or the other. She knows that the time that God's given her is valuable. And, while some of us might not have an illness where we hear the clock ticking, we know that our time is just as valuable for the kingdom of God, and that we don't need to compromise what we believe in just to have a good time. We can still enjoy the life that we have. Allie, for her, it's being with her mom, it's riding the horses, being quiet, being still, and she doesn't need anything else. And she actually invites Cody into that space. She's like, yeah, we can hang out, come to my trailer, we can talk, we can chat, we can laugh. And when that timer goes off, you can go home, because I have boundaries. And I think that I think Cody even likes that about her, that she's different, and it's a beautiful thing to be able to write about.
So there's so many good things that we could draw from the story, and it needs to be heard. And I'd like to actually use this interview as a model for some of my students because of just the values and the morals that go through it, but the real life conflicts. Is there going to be a season 2? Do we know? Is there any talks about some more before I get to the end?
Well, I have 3 books in the series, and this the 6 episodes covers book 1, but we haven't entered any conversations yet, with PureFlix about having more. I think that the rodeo world that we've created, one of the exciting things is that the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association, the PRCA, rarely ever endorses any kind of video, film, movie, TV series, and they endorse this. So we get to use some of their footage. You see PRCA and it's like, wow, that's pretty official. So because we have their vote of approval, and they love us because like they're a faith-based organization, like they pray before rodeos, and it's they feel like we captured it, and that a lot of people try to dirty it up even more, and we do that. So I think we have the world. Now that we do, I think there's probably more stories to tell.
I think so. Here in Texas, we value, and I love all the Texas stuff in the show. I love it.
Yes, I'm so glad.
And we have a cowboy church 3 minutes from us, and so this is going to be amazing.
Wow.
And I think it's going to be a big hit. I want to thank you so much for blessing me with your time. That was really special, and I was so excited when I was Karen Kingsbury and her son Russell. Y'all check out their stuff, Mr. Russell. Check out their stuff, buy her books. I mean, if you want good quality stories, they're right here, y'all. They're right here. And get PureFlix. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You should go with Andrew.
What will you do?
I'll lay low, disappear until things go quiet.
What if things don't go quiet?
I hope they don't. But it's a good idea we separate for now. Just take her with you. I don't know if...
I don't want to follow him.
We'll talk to him. Go now. He's not here.
To see you again.
You as well. You as well.
I just gave you access to record on your end. I'm recording as well, so we are ready to go when you are. We do have about 10 minutes. So sorry, our last interview went just a little bit longer than we thought. So.
All right. Well, here we go.
All right.
Here we go.
Hello, welcome to God Family Politics. I'm your host, Dr. Tyra Hodge. Today I'm here with the famous actress, Amber Shauna Williams from The Chosen. Hi, Amber. Thank you for coming on the show again.
Hi, thanks you so much for having me here. I'm excited to be here.
I really thought it was fitting for you to be here because it is Black History Month. And because Chosen has really made history, you're a part of that. You are a part of that. Tell us a little bit, for people that don't know, tell us a little bit about The Chosen.
The Chosen is the first multi-series television show about the life of Christ that follows his journey through the eyes of those around him, his disciples, and those he came across during his life. And it's a really beautiful storytelling that's authentic and truthful. And I think it's done some amazing things, and it's made history because of the obstacles that it's broken through and how it's reached everyone globally. I'm really proud of the show.
Yeah, I fell in love with it the first season, and I actually saw it a year later, when the second season came out. You play the character Tamar. Is that correct? How you
Yes,
say
ma'am.
it, Tamar?
Mm-hmm.
And she's such a beautiful character. Could you tell us a little bit about the character you play?
Absolutely. They've done such a beautiful job writing her. Tamar first is introduced in episode 6 of season 1 as the friend of the paralytic, where she brings him to Jesus, lowers him through the roof, and he does his first public miracle. And that was supposed to be my time on the show. But then they thought Tamar needed to be a part of this group, that she added something that wasn't there before. And so they invited me back, and they just expounded, they continued to expound on her character, and they used her as a point of connection between many stories that we hear in the Bible. I'm not sure where they're going to go, and I'm sure it's going to be amazing. But so far, they've connected her with being the friend of the paralytic. And they also connect her as being a follower, one of the women followers of Christ. And then now they've added, they've have her being one of the women who is running the behind the scenes to support the ministry financially, you know, because she's a businesswoman. We see her start up as a businesswoman, and she will always be a businesswoman.
She's definitely a businesswoman, but there was this moment in season 3, and I don't want to do a spoiler alert, where we got to see a more human side of you and or Tamar, and from season 1, where she goes out of her way to do anything to save her friend and to get them healed, to where we saw the human, you know, like we're getting to see what Jesus might have looked like in human form when it came to like your precious jewelry. How did it feel playing that part, and what was Tamar, how was she written to be feeling about?
Well, as you know, women, especially Black women, we are not monoliths, and we are almost walking contradictions at times, and it's really beautiful. And Tamar represents all of that, because she is not only loving and compassionate and kind, but she's fierce. She's outspoken. She's also very vulnerable, and and when the thing about being vulnerable is a lot of times we try to hide that, because it for often to others it's as a weak point. And so she hides her vulnerability like we really do as human beings. And that's something that we explored in season 3, are the things that she keeps to herself while she's out here being strong and a fighter and, you know, so gung-ho for everyone else, how she still kind of protects herself and holds on to her pain, because we often do that. It's a unique part of the female experience as well, is that we bear so much that we shouldn't, that we carry burdens that don't belong to us. And so we see this burden that she has been carrying since childhood, honestly. And it was really, for me, it was so touching. Like, we cried because Liz and I both, we kind of rehearsed the scene a bit before we actually filmed it, and just reading through it, it was hard not to hold back tears. I mean, on many scenes in season 3, but for sure that one, it was really difficult for me, because we had just experienced some horrific, tragic event that I heard on the news, and then thinking of how that could relate. Like, nothing has changed in 2,000 years. Nothing. We still have the same goals, and that's to get to tomorrow. And it was a challenge for me, but one that I took on head first, and I think that it came out all right.
And so do you feel like this is your greatest challenge, or was this your an accomplishment, or?
I look at it more as an accomplishment to date, especially in my career, and then as a person. It's been one of my greatest accomplishments and blessings, because you might have heard before that a lot of us were just kind of on the verge of quitting, because it's hard doing what we do and waiting for the opportunity, and even harder for people of color because the opportunities are so much smaller. And so here you are at the point of giving up, and then someone takes a chance on you. And you know what's so funny is, I had a pastor I'd worked with before on a film. She told me, she said, you're gonna do great things, you're gonna be a part of something big, and it's gonna be through Jesus. Mind you, I forgot all about this.
Wow. You know, and because it's Black History Month, we want to honor you, Amber. Thank you for heeding to the call, because the show it's more important than some people think. Yes, it's great entertainment. Yes, it's something biblical, but some of us feel like it's more than that. And so I kind of want to take you away from the show now, because now that you're a public figure, I mean, you were already an actress, but now, you know, you're an icon, and people now look up to you. How do you feel your responsibility as a Black woman and now a Black leader moving forward from The Chosen?
Oh, the responsibility is in remaining truthful because, as I mentioned before, we're not monoliths. And so I want to make sure that whatever I'm a part of, and I need to make sure I pay more attention to the opportunities I'm being offered, because I don't want to be a part of that regression. I want to make sure that I'm telling stories that are truthful to who I am as a Black woman, and that are honest, and that the narratives are not tunnel vision, and that it's more than it's not just rooted in pain and strife and trials and tribulations, that there's so many beautiful parts of being who we are, being Black women in the community, and just so much that I definitely think that we need to be paying more respect to in the stories that we tell, and not just it being revolved around our pain. And it's a responsibility now that I have when I accept jobs. Like, how's that going to make my community look?
Well, are you American, or
I am.
You lived in Paris for a while?
I'm American. I live in Madrid.
Okay, Madrid. Okay. And so, okay, so there goes my point. I'm glad that yes, we have to look to our culture, and we have to respect our culture and love our culture, but there's so much more to our culture as an American than just being Black, or just being dark skin. There's so much more, and sometimes that provides an opportunity. And I really, when they cast you, I really, wonder why they chose you. Was it just because you were just,
I wondered the same. Yeah,
a beauty, and because we have come so far in our country, and some people don't want to see that. And I believe you got that part because you got that part, and you earned that part. And because you were beautiful, and because you were talented, and because you would make a great addition to it. Can you tell us any secrets about The Chosen? I have not seen the last 2 episodes yet. So can you tell us any secrets about upcoming anything?
And season 3 or 4?
Let's do season 4. What can you tell us?
I don't have much about season 4, but I know it's going to be everything that every season is such a build on the one before. And so if you guys thought season 3 was just like Jonathan was like, it's gonna melt your face off, then I think the rest of you melt in season 4. It's gonna be leading up to that passion, which is gonna be something we're all gonna have to brace ourselves for.
Yes. Miss Williams, thank you. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. Be blessed and keep making a difference.
Thank you. Have a blessed day.